Ready?
Ready.
Okay. G'day,
I
everybody.
really have a haircut. And I like to wait until you start recording to say something.
How's it going, everybody? It's our Tuesday night video coming to you from lockdown, and we're back to the Zoom format, unfortunately, because Melbourne is locked in. How are you, Ben?
I'm good, mate. A little claustrophobic, but otherwise doing fine.
Fantastic. Well, there's no shortage of things to watch there.
No, I'm not going to watch any of them. I'm just going to watch a bunch of Hallmark movies from those Viavision box sets.
So most Tuesday nights we react to a movie that we've recently seen sort of ahead of release at a press screening or whatever. We did catch a film this week called PERCY vs Goliath. Although I think in Canada it's just called Percy. So
yeah, that's in IMDb. When I looked it up, it was just listed as Percy.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. This one stars Christopher Walken. It also has Christina Ricci. It has Zach Braff. It has Martin Donovan in it. It's a fairly good cast. It's a much more impressive cast than I think the film deserves.
Yeah, it was a surprise. It's a real tough one to kind of.
All right, off the bat, before we get deep into it, I just want to say I felt like this was a made-for-television movie, and I did not like the way it was shot at all. And I don't know if that was the effect of watching a screener before it's gone through all of its processes of grading and all that kind of stuff, but it just felt like almost like you watch it on a GoPro or something.
Yeah, look, I mean, I can't say I paid any attention to that aspect of it.
Yeah,
I was more caught up in the story and the performances than I was on the cinematography. And that being said, there wasn't much, considering that this movie is about GMO and the rape of farmers by big corporate pharmaceutical companies. The only sprawling vista kind of that you get to really see is the Montecito sign that is on a billboard that he drives past repeatedly in this film. And Montecito is the name of the company that's suing Christopher Walken. For people who are unfamiliar with what this film is about, Christopher Walken plays a farmer who's been saving seeds from his crops to replant the next season
for generations.
He's been doing it. His family have been doing it for generations.
Yeah.
But of course, now these big pharmaceutical companies have genetically modified the wheat, and he grows. It's not wheat. He grows something. Canola. He grows canola. They've genetically modified the wheat so that it is resistant to their weed spray. So you can spray your crops with this weed killer and it will kill everything except for the crops, which sounds like a great idea. A lot of people don't like the idea of it. They think it's you're messing with nature and you've got creating Frankenstein food, which I kind of agree with.
Well, GMOs are banned in most countries other than America.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And they can't export for that reason, which is seemingly weird. But and during his process of seed saving, like any seeds that have like drifted over through wind, bee pollination, bird droppings, anything like that have gotten into his field, the pharmaceutical company claim they own, and he has stolen their property by growing those crops.
And as the title suggests, it's one of those little guys versus the big guys kind of films, a bit like Aaron Brockovich, Dark Water, all those kind of movies, done without any of the, I'm going to say integrity. There's not a lot of integrity in this film. Like, I just really didn't care.
No, well, that's it. I mean, look, I don't know if I'd use the word integrity, but it's just such an awkward direction from Clark Johnson, who I've never heard of. But the performances are also weird that you just cannot, like, you've got to force yourself to give a shit. Like, no one, like Christopher Walken, like there's a flash right at the start of the film where he brings home this giant new tractor, much to his son's disgust, where you're like, it's Christopher Walken. And then the rest of the time, he's boring. And the way everybody interacts with each other, like it's so stilted and awkward that it just makes everything stilted and awkward.
Can I say though,
Christina,
what you said about Christopher Walken though not being very Christopher Walken was the only appealing thing for me. Like I actually liked the fact that it wasn't Christopher Walken. You know, like it was just a plain Joe. Like he was not that. You know.
Oh no! Like no, you're right. Like, but I don't need him to be gregarious. I just mean I need him to be an actual human being with some kind of personality. Like the whole movie centers around, like he doesn't have the money to fight this GMO, but his story inspires others, and he gives these rousing speeches. Yet his performance is such that, like he wouldn't, like he's not. You wouldn't inspire your next door neighbor who's known you for 20 years, let alone
there's
strangers.
There's nothing special about the speeches he gives. That's for sure.
No, it's just a very kind of poorly written and poorly directed film, and like it's a film that you should be like Aaron Brockovich. Like at the end, you should be kind of standing up and kind of pumping your fist in the air with like. You know, but even the victory at the end is treated with such a non-reaction from Christopher Walken, and the woman who plays his wife in it.
She's been in heaps.
Roberta Maxwell.
She's been in heaps, and she's very underwhelming. But the biggest disappointment here for me was actually Christina Ricci. Like she was awful in this.
I mean, like she's totally playing a sleazebag, which I found hilarious. Like a kind of almost like a corporate shill, but the opposite.
Yeah.
Which I do, you know.
She's an eco warrior, but the way
just as willing to use him as the corporates are.
Yeah, and then to sort of like to have her find a little bit of a conscience, somewhere along the way, and it was just done so stiltedly. And her interactions, like knocking on their door and saying hello, simple things like that. You feel like there's someone behind Christopher Walken with a bloody cue card telling her what to read. It was so strange.
It's just and Zach Braff plays the lawyer, and Martin Donovan is the lawyer for the corporate. And by the way, the corporate is never given a face. There is no one to hate in this film. Like the corporate is virtually non-existent throughout the film. And Martin Donovan is the lawyer, but he's given absolutely nothing to do. Zach Braff is supposed to, it's supposed to be like the castle kind of thing where this plucky small town lawyer takes on the big corporates with nothing but nous and drive and determination, but he has none. The courtroom scenes are almost non-existent.
I was about to say this should be a courtroom movie. Like we should see lots of real tense kind of standoffs in the courtroom. Martin Donovan I think has 4 lines in the whole film. Like
it's just really weird, and then they play into cliche. Like he goes over to, at one point Christopher Walken goes to India to speak at a conference. And of course, while he's away, his wife has a fall, and his son calls him on the phone. How dare you have left her alone? She was on the floor for 4 hours. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, you knew he was away in India, you son of a bitch. Why weren't you over there checking on your mum?
Well, 2 things there. Firstly, the son is played by the guy that played Lenny Bruce in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I was really thrilled to see him in it, but he didn't get to do much.
I do really like Luke Kirby.
Yeah, but I do too. But the other thing was, for a film that's all about agriculture and the American landscape, we didn't get a lot of American landscape. But when they went to India, boy, do we get lots of drone shots and fucking hey, look how India is. It's like, well, this whole segment of the film is irrelevant. Like, it doesn't matter if he goes to India or not. Like, this is an American story. That just was perplexing to me.
Yeah. And everybody is unlikable, and some of the arguments that they bring up in that Indian conference with the African, some of the South African people talking about how GMOs are great because they're bringing food to drought-stricken countries and stuff like that. You're like, but are they though? They keep promising all this stuff, and it never turns up.
But even
you can't pay
whatever merit there is or isn't to be had in the argument. Just the actual the acting between those actors was just awful.
Was just awful. The presentation of it. And then there's a really weird bit where they talk about how the corporation has their spies everywhere, and and like they're super nefarious. And then there's this couple who appear at like the bake sale and stuff like that, and they give off this kind of fake friendly kind of thing at the start, and they're supposed to be the kind of on the boots on the ground representation of the corporation. But all they do is they appear in the background of a couple of scenes, like have a snarky, like not even a snarky, like a snarky hello. They don't. Otherwise, they provide absolutely nothing else to the plot of this film at all. And you're like, why are these people even here? It is actually I thought I was like, when I watched it, I thought this is fine. Like, I don't mind this film. And then afterwards, the more I thought about it in preparation for the show, I just got angrier and angrier at how disappointing it is.
Yeah. I sort of had in mind to come into this conversation not liking it, but being kind of constructive. But the more I think about it, the more I really dislike it. And possibly, one of the only other positive things to say is that one of the neighboring farmers is played by Kickin' Wings from Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, look, I can't really praise this one at all. There's something else I was going to go with on that, but
I mean,
anyway,
I saw the trailer for it at another at a media screening that we went to earlier in the year, and I was like, yes, this is like when I heard about the actuality of like this practice, like of farmers being sued by corporates who have literally genetically modified the wheat and stuff so that you can't seed save now. Like they cannot reproduce.
Yep.
Like you have to buy new seeds from the company because they are genetically altered so that they can't reproduce. And you think, like, when the world goes to shit and this is all the stuff that's left, the few people who are left aren't going to be able to grow anything because these corporates who think they can copyright genes in food and in people, like it infuriates me. I was like, this movie is it. Like I can't fucking wait. And it was such a letdown.
And I have no doubt in Canada it's a very important story, and it's not told in an important way. I don't even think it becomes clear that it is set in Canada until 3/4 of the way through. I know.
Where you're like, oh, he's from Saskatchewan. Okay, thanks. That's not made clear throughout the whole rest of the film.
Well, but before we wrap this up, the one thing that really is not clear to me, maybe you have an answer to it, is did the wife ever get back on the committee for the pie sales?
Fuck, that scene is so bad. Like they kick her off the committee and she comes home and cracks the shits. And you're like, you're cracking the shits because you're off the pie committee, and they have to insert this bullshit like bit of dialogue where it's not just the committee, it's our community.
Yeah.
To justify, like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it's like it's as if to say this affects everybody, even the pie makers.
Yeah, like fuck. But the thing that upset me most is all of the bullshit about the other farmers getting pissed off at him for being a seed stealer, and you're like, and the guy doing the kind of the corporate sales thing is like, I don't know about you, but nothing makes me more angry than seed stealers, because they're stealing from us, but they're also stealing from you if you think about it, you guys who pay for it. And like, no fucking way. Like, I paid for my TV, but if I went round to someone's house and went, yeah, look, this fell off the back of a truck, there's no way I'd be like, well, they raised the price of TVs because they have to cover the cost of people stealing them.
I don't like to say I can identify, right? But part of my childhood was spent growing up in rural Victoria with farms, and those type of communities rally behind each other. I can't imagine the entire community turning against this guy. I would think that they would be on his side because it could happen to any one of them as well.
Yeah, not to mention, that's right, that they turn on him in favor of a corporation.
Yeah.
And the other farmers, like, I don't want to say anything. I've got to do business with these people. They're not fucking buying your wheat, mate. They're selling you the seed. And you think they're going to say, no, I don't want your $20,000 because you've spoken out against us. You just go to the competition.
Well, here's the other thing. That guy says in one scene, he goes, I can't get behind this because I do business with them. But then in like the second to next scene, he's on the stand.
He's talking against them.
Talking against them without any context. Like, anyway, so it's playing in cinemas around around Australia, not in Victoria. Do we recommend this one?
Not in Victoria, but is it June 10? I think was that. Is that the?
Yeah, it'll pop up on streaming before long, no doubt.
Yeah, look, check it out and let us know what you think, because I'm very curious to see what other people think about this film.
What we should do is we should bandy all of the people that want to partake and get them all in a massive Zoom, and we can all just rag on it.
Yeah, we count to 3, and you yell out what the most infuriating part of the film is.
I feel like one of those James Bond scenes where they're at the headquarters and all the screens and just pans out and it's a whole world of people just talking over each other. All right, mate. Catch you on Thursday night.
Shall do.
Some farmers buy their seeds from big guys every year to plant. Me, I save my own. I'm a seed saver. What do you think?
What did that set you back?
It's an investment.
I told you.
Package for Mr. Percy Schmeiser.
Monsanto is claiming the canola you grew in '97 contained a technology in the seed's gene that they created.
I never bought their seed.
Tests showed substantial contamination.
Who are those men, Grandpa?
Monsanto will say that everything you grew is their property.
You sure got people talking.
Stole Monsanto's seed.
You know I'm not a thief.
Feels like you're angling for a fight. Will Percy have to testify?
Definitely. Is that going to be a problem?
Getting his driver's license photo is too much limelight for him.
Mr. Schmeiser, I'm Rebecca Salco. I'm here to help you with your case. You try to fight them on your own, you will lose.
They're tearing our community apart.
They go after anyone who speaks out against them.
I get sued for doing the same thing my family's been doing for hundreds of years.
So you did do it on purpose.
You ready for this, Percy?
This is a precedent-setting case. There are thousands of people who want to support you.
Monsanto says farmers' rights don't matter. We gotta keep fighting.
Hey, Percy, can I get your autograph?
No.
A David and Goliath legal battle.
In a case where farmers around the world are watching very closely.
We've heard your story. You're fighting back. You bring us hope.
$1.2 million. That's how much you owe.
We're going to lose the farm.
If you win, no farmer could ever be sued for saving seeds again.
That's Grandpa.
We're going to the Supreme Court.
Is that something your lawyers have advised?
I haven't told him yet.